The Alchemical Journey of Jordan Peterson, a biography in 7 parts.
For centuries, the alchemists pursued the physical transformation of base metals into gold, a profound metaphor for the symbolic journey of self-transformation. Their work was a meticulous, arduous process of breaking down, purifying and reintegrating, an esoteric path mirroring the human soul's quest for meaning. In our modern age, amidst the swirling chaos of conflicting ideas and existential questions, one figure has emerged whose life, intellectual journey, and public emergence echo this ancient alchemical quest. Jordan Burnt Peterson. Yes, Burnt. His middle name is Burnt, no pun intended. This biography explores how Jordan's character attributes and relentless intellectual pursuit align with the 7 fundamental processes of alchemy, revealing a continuous transformation that has profoundly impacted countless lives. Join us as we journey through the calcination, dissolution, and ultimate coagulation of a mind forged in the crucible of truth.
Chapter 1. Calcination, the fire of confrontation, early doubt and the Cold War shadow. Alchemical process, calcination, reduction to ash by fire, the breaking down of old forms, beliefs, and ego, often involves confrontation, self-examination, and the burning away of illusions.
Every alchemical process begins with calcination, the reduction of raw material to ash through intense consuming fire. It's the burning away of the superficial, the confronting of the ego, and the breaking down of pre-existing, often comforting, structures of belief. For Jordan Peterson, this foundational fire was ignited early in his life by the pervasive shadow of the Cold War and his own unyielding intellectual honesty. Born in Fairview, rural Alberta, in 1962, Peterson grew up under the chilling spectre of nuclear annihilation. The constant looming threat of global catastrophe, the potential for humanity to utterly destroy itself, instilled in him a profound existential dread. This wasn't merely a backdrop, it was a deeply personal crisis. He looked at the world, at the history of the 20th century, the atrocities of totalitarian regimes, the genocides, the senseless suffering, and felt a desperate need to understand why. Why did people fall prey to murderous ideologies? Why did good people participate in evil? This relentless, often painful inquiry was his early calcination. He read voraciously, devouring everything from Orwell and Solzhenitsyn to Jung and Nietzsche. He wasn't looking for answers to confirm his existing worldview. He was actively seeking to dismantle it, to burn away any naive assumptions or comforting falsehoods. He rejected the simplistic political narratives of both the left and the right, finding them inadequate to explain the complexities of human malevolence. He recognized the profound capacity for evil within the human heart and refused to look away from that terrifying truth, no matter how uncomfortable. This period was characterized by intense internal struggle and profound disillusionment. He describes questioning everything, experiencing what he calls a profound crisis of belief and a descent into chaos. His early explorations into political science and then psychology were not necessarily career choices in the conventional sense, but perhaps they could better be described as deeply motivated attempts to understand the architecture of belief, to comprehend how individuals and societies could descend into such horrific darkness. This willingness to allow his cherished beliefs to be consumed by the fire of truth, to confront the raw, terrifying reality of human destructiveness and the abyss of meaninglessness, was the crucial, painful first step in his alchemical journey. He voluntarily entered the flames, allowing the ego's illusions to be reduced to ash, preparing the way for whatever might emerge.
Chapter 2. Dissolution, the waters of inquiry, academic immersion and maps of meaning. Alchemical process. Dissolution, immersion in a solvent, the breaking down of calcined ashes further, making them soluble and receptive to new forms. It's about deep analysis, absorption, and allowing ideas to flow and merge.
From the transformative heat of calcination, the alchemical journey proceeds to dissolution, where the calcined remnants are immersed in a potent solvent. This process further breaks down and purifies the material, making it soluble, receptive, and capable of forming new, more complex structures. For Jordan Peterson, this phase was characterized by a prolonged and profound immersion in the vast oceans of human knowledge. culminating in the painstaking creation of his magnum opus, Maps of Meaning, The Architecture of Belief. After completing his doctoral work at McGill University, Peterson moved through influential academic positions, notably at Harvard and then the University of Toronto. This was an excellent opportunity for Jordan to converse with some of the brightest minds in academia. He spent over a decade meticulously synthesizing disparate fields: clinical psychology, mythology, comparative religion, neuroscience, literature, and philosophy. Jordan was actively dissolving the traditional boundaries between these disciplines. He allowed the waters of ancient stories, scientific findings, and philosophical insights to wash over his calcined understanding, breaking down isolated facts into a flowing, interconnected understanding. His goal was to understand the fundamental patterns that underpin human belief and action, to discover the architecture of belief that shapes how individuals and societies navigate chaos and create order. Maps of Meaning became the vessel for this great dissolution, a work where Jungian archetypes met neurobiology, where the ancient wisdom of myth was reconciled with modern psychological theory. He sought to understand how meaning is constructed and why people adhere to specific narratives, even those that lead to malevolence. This intellectual fluidity, his capacity to hold seemingly contradictory ideas in mind, to connect the grand narratives of humanity with the intricacies of the human brain, was the very essence of his dissolution. It purified his understanding, making the complex flow of human experience comprehensible and preparing the way for the powerful conjunction of his insights with the wider world.
Chapter 3. Conjunction, the Sacred Marriage, Synthesizing Insights and Public Assertion. Alchemical Process. Conjunction, the Sacred Marriage, the union of previously separated elements, often purified, leading to a new, higher whole. It can be a volatile, fiery process of fusion, bringing internal and external into contact.
With the foundational material calcined and then dissolved into a fluid, receptive state, the alchemical process now enters conjunction. This is the sacred marriage, the powerful and often turbulent union of previously separated elements, leading to a new, more potent composite. For Jordan Peterson, this pivotal stage marked the explosive fusion of his deeply internalized, rigorously developed academic theories with the raw, chaotic realities of the public sphere. For decades, his insights had been primarily confined to academic halls, to his students and colleagues. But in 2016, his principled objection to Canadian Bill C-16, legislation concerning compelled speech regarding gender pronouns, acted as the spark that ignited this conjunction. This wasn't a sudden, unconsidered reaction. It was the direct, inevitable collision of his meticulously formulated understanding of the dangers of totalitarianism and ideological possession, developed in Maps of Meaning, with a specific, real-world manifestation of what he perceived as a threat to individual liberty and free speech. The conjunction was intense and confrontational. He deliberately brought the order of his intellectual framework into direct contact with the chaos of rapidly shifting social norms and increasingly polarized public discourse. The backlash was immediate and fierce: accusations of bigotry, protests, calls for his termination. Yet, simultaneously, millions around the globe resonated with his stance, feeling that he articulated a truth they intuitively knew but couldn't articulate. This period was a fiery test, a crucible where his private convictions were forced into public manifestation. His character attributes of courage, his willingness to articulate unpopular truths, and his unyielding commitment to free speech were acted upon in the face of media backlash, and the same from much of academia. This was the moment his internal philosophy fused with external action, creating a new, highly visible public identity. It was a painful, often isolating, yet absolutely necessary step in his alchemical journey, forging a powerful, if controversial, new entity from the purified elements of his intellect and moral conviction.
Chapter 4. Fermentation, the leavening of influence, explosive growth and the catalyst of controversy. Alchemical process. Fermentation, the addition of a ferment or catalyst that initiates a period of dynamic transformation, often involving a kind of internal decay or breakdown of the old, leading to the generation of new life, increased potency, and the proliferation of the transformed material.
From the intense, sometimes volatile conjunction of Peterson's intellectual convictions and public confrontation emerged the dynamic process of fermentation. Just as a catalyst transforms a mixture, leading to a bubbling, often messy, but ultimately enriching proliferation, so too did the controversy surrounding Peterson act as a powerful ferment, causing his ideas to swell and spread dramatically. The raw energy generated by the Bill C-16 debate and subsequent media appearances became the very yeast that leavened his global impact. His YouTube channel, initially a repository for his university lectures, exploded in popularity, drawing hundreds of millions of views. Audiences, often young men but increasingly diverse, found themselves captivated by his direct, articulate challenges to the trending pseudo-wisdom and his deep dives into mythology, religion, and psychology. His book, 12 Rules for Life, An Antidote to Chaos, published in 2018, became a global phenomenon. It was read, discussed, debated, and applied by millions of readers eager to lift their game. The fermentation here was evident in how his ideas, rather than simply disseminating, actively worked on people. They challenged individuals to take on individual responsibility, to stand up straight, to confront their own internal chaos and external realities. This message, often uncomfortable in its demand for responsibility, caused a kind of internal putrefaction of old habits, cynical despair, and unexamined assumptions in countless lives, creating fertile ground for a new sense of purpose. The widespread engagement, both positive and negative, fueled this rapid expansion. The passionate advocacy from his supporters and the intense vilification from his critics both served to amplify his voice. This period was a chaotic but incredibly potent expansion, a true fermentation where the transformed material, his profound insights, permeated the global consciousness, generating a vibrant, often tumultuous dialogue that continues to this day.
Chapter 5. Distillation, the Ascent of Purity, Personal Ordeal and the Refinement of Truth. Alchemical process. Distillation, heating a substance to vaporize it, then condensing the pure vapor to separate it from impurities. It's about extracting the essence, refining the core message through intense pressure and purification, and rising above the dross.
From the effervescent and sometimes turbulent fermentation of widespread influence, the alchemical journey proceeds to distillation. This is the rigorous process of purification through intense heat and condensation, where the essence of the material is separated from its impurities, rising to a higher state of clarity and concentration. For Jordan Peterson, this most arduous phase arrived in the form of a profound personal and physical ordeal that threatened to consume him entirely. Beginning in 2019, Peterson faced a series of devastating personal crises. His wife, Tammy, was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive cancer, and he himself developed a severe, debilitating physical dependence on benzodiazepines prescribed to help manage anxiety that escalated during his wife's illness. This plunged him into a harrowing 18-month battle with withdrawal symptoms, including akathisia, an unbearable internal restlessness that made stillness impossible. He sought treatment across the globe, from North America to Russia and Serbia, enduring medically induced comas and near-death experiences. This was his distillation. Stripped of his public platform, his physical comfort, and at times his mental faculties, he was forced into a profound internal crucible. The intense suffering burned away everything non-essential, all superficialities. He was reduced to the raw, vulnerable human being, testing the very principles he had espoused. His courage in facing this personal hell, and his eventual open sharing of the experience, helped to purify his message. Emerging from this dark night of the soul, Peterson's discourse gained an even deeper resonance. His intellectual insights, previously honed in libraries and lecture halls, were now forged in the white-hot fire of lived experience. His call for individuals to voluntarily shoulder suffering, to speak the truth, and to find meaning in adversity was no longer just theory. It had become a testament to his own harrowing journey through the abyss. This distillation separated the essential wisdom from the incidental noise, leaving behind a purer, more potent concentration of his core philosophy. refined through the crucible of extreme personal trial.
Chapter 6: Coagulation. The solidification of principle, building enduring structures and shared purpose. Alchemical process. Coagulation. The solidification of the purified essence into a stable, enduring, and tangible form. The integration of internal transformation into external reality. It's about materializing insights, building structures, establishing principles, and creating lasting order.
Following the intense purification of distillation, the alchemical process moves to coagulation. This is the crucial stage where the highly refined and concentrated essence solidifies into a stable, tangible form, integrating the inner transformation into the external world. For Jordan Peterson, emerging from his period of profound personal suffering, this marked a conscious shift towards building durable structures and fostering communities grounded in the principles he had so arduously refined. Upon his return to the public sphere, his insights, previously disseminated primarily through books and videos, began to take on more concrete forms. This coagulation is exemplified by initiatives like Peterson Academy, an online educational platform designed to provide structured courses in psychology, philosophy, and practical wisdom, aiming to bring high-quality, uncompromised intellectual training to a broader audience. This was an act of materialization, of coagulation, solidifying his understanding into a curriculum, a tangible foundation for learning. Further demonstrating this drive towards solidification is the Alliance for Responsible Citizenship, launched in 2023. This global initiative is a direct response to what Peterson perceives as the chaotic dissolution of Western values. ARC seeks to coagulate individuals, organizations, and ideas committed to promoting freedom, responsible self-governance, and civilizational flourishing. It's an attempt to create a stable, collaborative framework for positive societal action, translating his philosophical principles into a collective, actionable purpose. This period is defined by Peterson's commitment to translating theoretical insights into practical, enduring structures. His character, forged in the crucible of both public confrontation and private suffering, now actively seeks to establish points of order in a fractured world. This coagulation is an ongoing testament to his desire to understand, to build, and to provide concrete pathways for others to navigate chaos. It is a move to solidify the hard-won wisdom of his alchemical journey into a more stable and coherent reality.
Chapter 7: Culmination, Multiplication, Projection, the Philosopher's Stone, Ongoing Transmutation and Universal Influence. Alchemical process, culmination, multiplication, projection, the final stage of the magnum opus, often symbolized by the Philosopher's Stone. It represents the attainment of profound wisdom, the ability to endlessly replicate or project this refined essence, and to transmute or influence the world on a grand scale. Crucially, it's often seen as an ongoing generative process, not a static endpoint.
Having undergone the profound processes of calcination, dissolution, conjunction, fermentation, distillation, and coagulation, the alchemical journey reaches its culmination. This final stage, often associated with the creation of the fabled Philosopher's Stone, signifies something more than a perfected state. You could say it signifies the capacity for continuous self-transmutation and the ability to project a refined, potent influence upon the world, endlessly multiplying its beneficial effects. For Jordan Peterson, this represents his current and ongoing role as a global intellectual force, a guide for individual and societal transformation, perpetually engaged in the arduous work of bringing order to chaos. He has built organizations that will likely outlast his own bodily life, which can be viewed as a form of immortality. The Philosopher's Stone, in this context, is an integrated state of being, a living wisdom. Peterson's consistent message, refined through every crucible he has faced, is one of profound individual responsibility, the voluntary acceptance of suffering, and the courageous pursuit of truth and meaning. He continues to engage in public discourse, taking on controversial topics, and always aiming to articulate fundamental principles that allow individuals to navigate the complexities of modern existence. His work now encompasses broad societal transformation. Through his lectures, podcasts, writings, and the institutions he has helped to establish, he endlessly multiplies his core message, encouraging millions to undertake their own journeys of self-improvement and to integrate their shadows. He projects his understanding onto the grand narratives of religion and mythology, providing a framework for individuals to find their place and purpose. He is an alchemist in motion, demonstrating that the true gold lies in the ongoing commitment to solve the problems of existence, to speak with precision, and to build a life of integrity, influencing the world sheerly by the transformative power of articulated truth. The journey for Peterson, like the alchemical magnum opus itself, is never truly complete. It is a continuous cycle of breaking down the false, purifying the essential, and rebuilding with greater wisdom and potency. He stands as a testament to the transformative power of confronting chaos, embracing responsibility, and relentlessly striving for meaning, inviting all who listen to join him on this infinite alchemical quest. Jordan Peterson's alchemical journey, from the searing fires of calcination to the generative power of culmination, reveals a life lived in profound engagement with the forces of chaos and order. His path illustrates that true transformation requires a lifelong commitment to the arduous, yet ultimately redemptive process of becoming. In his ongoing work, we witness the living manifestation of the alchemical pursuit, the endless striving to transmute the lead of human suffering into the gold of enduring meaning and purpose.
Please like and subscribe to help this new channel grow. Thanks for listening.